Hello and welcome to Crypto Bible. My name's Oliver Tompkins, and in today's episode, our video is how to make sense of a crypto market crash. I've got my buddy on, Elliot Rain, with me, waiting in the wings to help us have a little look at some indicators to not panic, not be too emotional and panic sell, but how to understand it all and what's going to happen. So before we get stuck into the video, go ahead, throw me an early like, hit subscribe, and turn on your notification bell icon so you never miss any of our upcoming episodes. Without further ado, let's get El on. Elliot, here you are. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm all right. I'm seeing a lot of red. I'm seeing a lot of red on the charts, but we're going to go through today how not to panic and how to look at the, everything as a whole, so we don't have to be, so emotional.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start off by first referring to something we call the Wall Street psychology chart about market cycles.
Oh, I think I've seen this before. I'm looking forward to this,
and it's going to be really beneficial for people. What I'm going to do first is get rid of everything on here, right? And I'm going to go up to because what a lot of people have a tendency to do when it comes to any market, right, is they focus on the minute and they don't zoom out as to what's going on, right? Now, I'm always very much here, let's look at this logically rather than emotionally. So, what you got to take into account with the markets are they're driven very much by two things, fear and greed. And that's what drives the supply and demand of the market. Now, if I type in Wall Street.
Let me just share what you're doing so we can see. There we go. Yeah, Wall Street.
I'll show you this, right? And I'm going to show everyone how this all ties together. Now, I'm going to break down exactly where we are right now and where we essentially. I need to make this bigger if it's going to allow me to do this. It's going to be a Twitter one. It's not going to probably not allow me to do that. I'll tell you what, we'll just do this. I'll zoom in. All right. Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
So what we've got right now is the stages effectively of a Wall Street. Well, they call it Wall Street, but a psychology market, right? Now, basically, in a point here, forget this just here. Now, what we have is the human emotions behind why how we feel when the market's doing certain things. So what you'll find is, so ignore these annotations just here because clearly someone else has put them on. But when the market's down, everyone's thinking that it's going to fail. You're seeing a lot of the news coming out that things are going to die. Everything's going to, much like Luna we spoke about, right? As much as everyone was raving about before, now everyone's saying it's going to die, right? Now, as the market starts to come up, generally optimism and belief is when you start to get the newspapers saying that things are, going to continue forever. You get new people creating Telegram groups. You get new people on YouTube saying, Bitcoin's going to 100K.
Yeah.
And that's generally when these people start to, come into the market. The market has only ever come into the market like when this is happening, right? You'll notice that, people like me, people like other people that are, actually in the market kind of full time, we don't disappear when things go bad, which a lot of people,
yeah.
Right? So that's generally when you get a lot of these people coming in. Now, generally at thrill stage, this is when you're hearing everyone kind of saying, basically, you need to buy this, you need to buy that. You go to the pub and people say, oh, you heard about XRP, you need to buy that, right? And then from there, we've got the euphoria stage. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you exactly what we can see with Bitcoin right now. But before I do that, I'm going to refer to 2017 and what happened in 2017, right? So what we had just here, now it's better actually articulated on the weekly time frame. So what we had just here, if I do annotate these side by side, you had the disbelief phase where the market was low. And I'm going to break this down into actually what the market cycles look like to reflect that. Okay. So we've got the disbelief section. We've then got that little bit of optimism where the rally comes upwards here. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've then got a section of optimism, belief, thrill, and euphoria where the market comes up. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've then got the market coming down for a big pullback. We've then got a little bit of a relief rally, which is the complacency phase just here. So it pushed upwards. Yeah. And then from there, we had a complete capitulation. Yeah. Everyone goes through anxiety, denial, panic, capitulation. Now, this is where I'm going to go into live circumstances in just a moment and show you exactly what I'm seeing. Okay, so that's kind of the full stages of a let's just call it an emotional roller coaster when it comes to psychology in the market. Right? Let's now look at what's happened in previous months. So this is why a lot of it right now is kind of I'm kind of a little bit still optimistic, but equally I understand if what happens, could happen, this is where we're going to be, and I'll tell you in a moment. So let's go right now. So let's just go look at where we were. So hope and disbelief here. So hope, disbelief here, followed by rally, followed by, arguably the optimism, belief, thrill, and euphoria stage.
Yeah.
Followed by the pullback just here. Boom. Followed by the complacency. And now this is where the issue lies with me right now looking at this chart. And this is why you can't solely do your analysis based off this. Because if you look, this complacency phase in that respect here, actually went higher than previous high here, right? Now, anyone could argue that this could be the complacency phase, but I would also argue that this hasn't been too much of a move back, okay? We have broken to an extent, not massively, but nearly the trend structure here, which is why I'm talking about. So if I get rid of this, Bitcoin right now, as of right now, is actually still holding up trend structure, which is crazy on the monthly, on the weekly and monthly time frame. Now, this is why I'm referring to this, and I'm saying, well, is this where we really are now? Yes, a lot of the altcoins are in this phase right now. Okay, Bitcoin as a whole just isn't. So let me appreciate what could happen if we break 30K. Okay, now I'm expecting we get a final pullback with Bitcoin before we see any kind of major relief rally. I mean, the market comes up a little bit to at least 28K, right? To here. Okay.
So no, you don't think any lower than 28K?
So it's not that I don't think that, it's just that we should see a major amount of holding support there, right? Now, if we break 28K, this is where we need to essentially, be aware that the market can drop quite substantially, anxiety, denial, capitulation to around about $12,000 for Bitcoin. Okay, right. So I mentioned this previously about where it could go. So Bitcoin can hit $12,000, and this will cause a complete market capitulation, and this will be driven primarily by external factors and the markets, the macroeconomical circumstance. If we can hold here, then Bitcoin can rally and can start to pull the altcoins with it. Now, what I also must mention is, along with the Wall Street psychology chart, you've actually got the major ways that a market cycle actually works. And I'm going to explain these things to us. It's a 5-step process, okay? So the first one is essentially accumulation, okay? So let me go through this. It's accumulation, where the big boys are buying certain amounts of Bitcoin over a period of time, try to regulate the price. So they're buying in what we call tranches, right?
Right.
So this is like, if I've got $2 billion to spend, I might spend 100 million here, 100 million there to regulate the price. Then
and you can see that because it's a load of greens, and it's like basically manipulating the price up. So they're the whales buying in.
Exactly there. So it's kind of, the price is just kind of doing this, right? Then what we've got, the second part of this trend is your early trend here.
Yeah.
Third part of the trend is your parabolic move, which is your third part there. Fourth part of the trend is a fast pullback, right? Fifth part of the trend is eventually a grind down in price, okay? And then what happens is we go through a new phase of accumulation, right? This was all, I would argue, accumulation. And the reason why I say it was all accumulation, and actually you could really argue that this is all accumulation. And the reason the reason why I say that is because over that time, we didn't actually until here break that downwards trending movement, right? So I would argue that all this up until here, is accumulation. Now, if we then look at this chart, we've gone through. This is why we could potentially be looking at the Wall Street psychology. And if we do break here, we do see the market trend, substantially downwards for a period of time, going into that grind down phase that I've just spoke about just there.
Yeah.
Which also aligns and has confluence with the Wall Street psychology phase I'm talking about. Now, I need to go to a different chart. Okay, so let's get rid of this. So what we've got right now, I'll get rid of this, is essentially two things that can happen. So number one is we've then seen accumulation here.
Yeah.
We've seen the market early trend here, or in and around these regions. We've seen the market go on a parabolic move. Boom. We've then seen the market go on a fast pullback here.
Yeah.
Now, this is where it doesn't align, okay? Because we had we had the market then go on to make another high, which is
And
why
it should have, in theory, done another accumulation, right?
in theory it should have started to trend significantly
Right. Oh yeah.
down.
Pull back then the downward trend and then accumulation. Right. Okay. So it's like breaking the mold.
So the weird thing is here, and if I go back up to the monthly time frame, we could also almost say that this is all the, what's the word I'm looking for, the parabolic move. But the issue you've got is that we've got a pullback here and then it pushed upwards, and we haven't had a huge fast pullback here. It's not been massive. So if we fail to break the 30K region, then I would argue that yes, Bitcoin can definitely regain momentum, and that's naturally going to fuel the altcoins to grow. But equally, we got to be aware that now, if I go to the weekly time frame and I start to pull up a little trend line from here to here to here, we've broken this structure here. But if I look at the monthly time frame, overall, depending if I use the wicks or not, we're still holding okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's why I say it's really, really key that we need to be aware that we just can't drop below 28K. And if we do, what we got to also reference is basically the fact that we could potentially see a next downside move to 21K, followed by another move to 10K, which would definitely be a wick that would come down to 10K. Now, I also have further things to back that up. If I look at the CME, I've got it up here somewhere. Is this one? It's not. I'm trying to find it. Let's do this. BTCD, CME group. So if I go into this chart, we'll see. If I go into this chart, I can go into this in further detail, but essentially, if I look at the CME Group Exchange, I've already annotated this CME gap here anyway.
Yeah.
What the CME Group Exchange is essentially like, traders and institutions, they're not trading Bitcoin. They're trading derivatives of Bitcoin. So contracts that track the value of it, right?
Okay.
Now, what you got to bear in mind is that in traditional markets, the market, it closes on the evening, right? So it closes on the evening, it closes on the weekend, but Bitcoin's a 24-hour market. So what that does is it creates gaps in the price where the price of Bitcoin's moved over the weekend, but then it's opened either higher or lower than what it closed at on the Friday night for the CME Group Exchange, right? Now, what we've got to take into account is whenever there's a gap in the price, so let's say we had a gap here, right?
Yeah.
Where the price is open and closed. Generally, the price gets revisited in the future. Okay, so you can see here we've revisited that. Yeah, it gets revisited. Okay.
Okay.
Also here we had a gap here. Yeah. Got revisited. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got revisited. So what I'm taking into account right now, there's a large percent chance that we revisit things. So the first gap I see is 25K. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Which can be revisited. Second gap is a little bit lower than that, which is here, 10K.
Okay.
Yeah, we've revisited the one below it at 8K. I would argue that yes, it's optimistic to say we could have revisited that one. We haven't filled it. We've touched it. We haven't filled this gap just here. See this?
Got ya.
So,
that's because it closes right over the weekend, right? And then there's these gaps where it starts Monday on this chart you're looking at. That's what the gaps are there.
Exactly that. So I've got a trend line in here. Strictly speaking, not to scare people, and this is where my targets have come in the past, we very, very much, if we go into an extended bear market, which is I won't say it's very likely. It's very likely if we lose this point here.
Yeah.
The price of Bitcoin can very much drop to these regions here. So 12K as a first target, but a wick down to 10K. Yeah.
So Elliot, what would you say to anyone that's kind of like new now and hearing everyone saying, it's a great buy-in opportunity? Would you say wait even more, or would you say, what would your advice be?
So this is the kind of stuff that I teach the guys, right? When we're going through stuff, like there's nothing wrong with having money in the market. What you've got to be aware of doing, and you've got to be okay with doing, is dollar cost averaging, right? So dollar cost averaging, But if you're going with the intention of dollar cost averaging, you've also got to go in with the intention that you're going to be going into some significant losses while you're investing more in the market, right? If I had 10 grand here, right? Say,
yeah,
I wanted to throw it all in Bitcoin thinking it's a screaming buy, but I also appreciate now I've been learning this, that there's 10K could possibly come in 12K. All I do is I do a few things. Now, I'm not going to go into great detail because this is it's literally the secrets that I teach our guys.
This is what you get. This is what you have to pay for. This is you know. So a little be vague about it.
I'd split it into 3 to 5 entries, right? My capital. So I might split it into two grand here, 2 grand there, 2 grand there, 2 grand there, whatever. And literally all I would do at specific points within the market, I would continue buying. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the way down. Okay. If you get half the way down and we only get to 15K with Bitcoin, right? You'll notice that your buying price isn't here. It might be here, right? And eventually, when the market decides to go up, we might only go to 15K, and you don't want to look at that as, oh, I had another buy in at 10K, I've missed it. You want to look at it, I've gone into profit. Simple, you know?
Right.
So that's how we effectively invest without throwing everything in the market straight away. Now, again, there's predetermined points that I help people with, but I'm not going to go into those. But
that's fine. If you want more, obviously, then you've got to click Elliott's link down below, and he'll get back to you and whatnot. But that's a subscription service. But that's just like a little taster. We're just teasing them, Elliott, with a little reeling them in for you. So I mean, because everyone that's in Bitcoin at the moment or cryptocurrency is seeing red, and there's a lot of kind of noise about some people saying obviously are panicking and they're saying crypto's gone, that's it, and then others are saying, hey, this is a good buying opportunity, but you've got to.
I've seen it a million times. You know, the reason why people, you know, that are new to the market either say it's dead or they say you know, this is a good buying opportunity now. Yes, long term it is a good buying opportunity now, but if you want to maximize and have any kind of emotional relationship with the market in a way, you need to have strategy. You know, if you're buying in right now, you've got to be prepared to lose 80% of your value of your crypto. But equally, like you say, you know, I've lived through this from 2015. Like it literally happens time and time again. We go up in value, we make a new high, we make a very, very low new low, and then we increase in value. Right now, I'm saying I'm appreciating that we could make our new low, but also if we hold 30K, it might not all be bad. You know, it might be extreme fear in the market right now. Now, if you'd have told me a couple of years ago there was going to be extreme fear in the market at $30,000 for Bitcoin, I'd have called you crazy, you know?
Yeah.
Because extreme fear to me spelled out 3 and 5K for Bitcoin, 4 and 5K, you know? So that could just potentially be the fact that we're in extreme fear right now, gearing up for everyone to expect it to go lower, when actually it can increase. You know, you got to look at both sides. So appreciate the downside and be aware of it, plan for it. But have skin in the game. There's nothing wrong with having skin in the game for like potential, you know, but be prepared to lose 80% of your value.
That's an interesting point as well. To, like you say, at any time that you invest in crypto, be prepared to lose 80%, but you've got to think long term. But I like that, and that's realistic, and therefore you need to be able to control your emotions, because obviously the majority of people cannot control their emotions because they're panic selling.
Yeah.
So we've got to talk. Let's talk quickly about before you go, Luna, because we spoke that on for like a series of these videos saying, you know, Luna, we wish we got in. And people that have followed us on our journey going, you know, oh, yeah, it's great when it was up to 80 quid. And now it's like £3. What's that in dollars? I don't know. What would be your advice to someone saying, hey, should we buy in here or should we wait? You know, because we spoke about Luna before.
So my advice is, so I mean, I would never give advice to do this, do that, right? But
not financially. This is just opinions.
I personally really like Luna. I think they've been doing all the right things. Now, what they clearly have missed, which can make and break a project, is the stability of their stable coin. You know, they clearly have missed due diligence, or they haven't collateralized it enough to keep it regulated, or the contracts are created in the right way. So that's a clear point of failure. Now, you know, the way I see it right now with Luna is every project is speculative right now. Every project, regardless of whether you're an Ethereum, whether you're a Bitcoin. But what I do see is things change majorly. We've seen huge projects, even Ethereum go to $70. We've seen that, and for me, the main thing is with Luna is that the only thing that's gone wrong as of right now is the stablecoin. So yes, that they've got a lot of financial backing. They can sort that out. They can deal with it. Now, my inadvertent advice for people that are stuck in positions would be, you've got to know your own personal financial position, right? If you've over leveraged in your portfolio, if you've got a portfolio of 7 or 8 assets in your portfolio, you've got to be prepared to lose some of those assets. You've got to be prepared. The aim of the game is that your outperformers far outperform your underperformers. Every single one isn't going to be right. Now, I'm still speculative long term for Luna, so I will be continuously accumulating. But that's relative to my overall portfolio. I'm not accumulating 100%, and that's just going to be in a position where, because I understand the market, I will accumulate the whole way down. If then Luna has a freak increase in value that's manipulated, I'll just get out of it.
Yeah. It's almost, this is like what we spoke about the other day, like risk and reward.
Yeah.
Luna's getting to that point now where you're like, is it worth a risk to the reward, like you say, because we've seen it pump before.
Yeah. This is shock. It's shock. There can be things put in place. But a rally like this, it's nothing fundamentally other than the failure of the stablecoin for a moment or whatever has happened. So what about all the other work they've done in the market? What about all the other people that have got assets locked up with Luna? It's still, the total value locked probably has changed, right? But equally, the fundamentals of the company probably haven't. They've still got a big team. They're still solving a problem. These things need tweaking, and for me, like, it can go lower. It can go sub $1 easily.
Yeah.
That will be shaky ground, but I'm not worried. I don't think.
Yeah, and to everyone else that have different types of crypto, just sit tight. Right? What advice would you say to them? Just relax. You've obviously chosen those projects for a reason.
We will get a relief rally, meaning the price of Bitcoin will rebound upwards because we can't physically capitulate anymore without. So my advice would be, if you can't feel the pain and it's not for you, then look for that relief rally and potentially get out and there you go. If you see the long-term growth of crypto, and you're willing to either manage your portfolio in a way where you can invest more in dollar cost average, do that. Or if you're willing to hold it out and not even look at the portfolio, then also do that.
Yeah, awesome. Great advice. Right, I know you need to move, mate. I'll let you go. Thank you once again. I'll see you next week. Have a great day, buddy.
Anytime. Cheers, Elliot.
Cheers. Bye-bye. So there you go, guys. Some wise words from Elliot Rain there of Planet Crypto Global. Check him out. We've got some description links down there below if you want to check out his educational courses and whatnot. Very interesting. Like Elliot said, he's been in it a long time. He's seen this happen time and time again. Crypto does crash. It does crash, but again, it does rally and it does pump. So it's just down to you to believe what projects you love and what you truly believe in. And if it's not for you, wait for that rally and get out, in the words of Elliot. None of this is financial advice, of course. It's just chatting, just opinions. Let us know what you think about all of this in the comments below. As always, throw me a like, get subscribed to Crypto Bible, turn those notification bell icons on so you never miss any of our upcoming episodes. All that's left for me to say is thanks ever so much for watching this episode, and I'll see you on the next one.